Hey, you jumbo, Australia and Hobart. That means hello, how are you in Swahili?
Well, I'm good. What about you? How's it all been going?
Oh, it's been an incredible adventure, like a roller coaster of excitement, meeting amazing people, injuries, being sad, lonely, everything.
Injuries to you?
Yeah, I broke my hand, I've hurt my foot, it's all part of the adventures.
Now, we spoke to you just before you left, and it was pretty much an open-ended journey away. Can you remind us why you were heading away?
Yes. So last time we spoke, we talked a lot about following your passion and being willing to let go of that fear of living a life that feels safe but unfulfilling. And I have made the leap, and I decided I'd pack up my life in Australia and follow my dream to do international peace building. So in October last year, I left and I headed for India, where I was working for 3 months, or volunteering basically for 3 months in an NGO, and then I was in Nepal for 2 months, and now I'm in the US doing some more training, and now I'm in Kenya.
It's just crazy for me to think about that. Now, you had a really successful job here in Tasmania. You had your own business. It's a real leap of faith for you, isn't it, to do this?
Oh, it is. Like I say to people, I had a life that people dream about. Like I had a great business. I'm a psychologist. I had a private practice that was doing really well. And before that, I'd set up an NGO called Festival of Dreams that a lot of people may have heard about through the interviews I've done with you, Scott. And my life was amazing in Australia. There was nothing that I would want for. It was fabulous, but it wasn't my dream. It was a safe life, but it wasn't my dream.
What have you learned about yourself in this journey so far?
I've learned that I hate cold showers in cold climates. and what have I learned? I've learned that every country I go to, I experience some sort of culture shock, and it takes a while to adjust to it. And I've learned that I've just got to ride that through, and I've learned that even the hardest places to be, like Nepal, was very difficult for me, and yet it was so enriching personally. I've grown so much for it and opened my heart so much from being in Nepal. So I've learned that there's sort of no wrong decisions. They're all valuable in their own way.
Now, you're in Kenya, and you're working in peace building and assisting in the development of women's rights. How's that going?
Yeah, it's fascinating. So I've only been in Kenya for 1 month, so I'm still learning. But in the new constitution that they've drafted in Kenya, there's a good provision for women to fulfill at least a third of the seats in the parliament. But there's a big problem with that actually happening in reality, because culturally Kenya is very patriarchal, and men have all the power. So women are too scared to actually step up because they'll get punished for it, or then men won't let them. So creating that support for women to actually fulfill that is quite a challenge.
You mentioned also in your email, which made me laugh, that you're missing all the comforts of home, but you're also missing just being able to blend in. I guess a bit hard to blend in Kenya? It's
incredibly hard. Like it's it's actually really awkward, because I feel like random people that I've never ever seen before, everyone says hello, which is very nice, but a lot of the time you're seen in Kenya as a walking cash machine, and that's the same in India as well. It's part of the culture, part of how different cultures view each other, and so it makes me feel a little bit less comfortable, if you like, because there's a lot of people asking for money and people want things from you, and so it would just be nice to blend in and just cruise down the street.
Yeah. And some exciting news regarding a leadership program in Liberia. Tell us about that. Yeah,
when I was in the US, I met some amazing people who are doing peace work around the world, and there's one young man, Andrew Anderson, in Liberia. He's Liberian. He's an African man, but often they have Christian names. And Liberia has spent a lot of time at war, and they're finally stabilising. And so he's setting up a leadership program with a Kofi Annan Institute, and they're really keen to link in with the Tasmanian Leaders Program to learn about the leadership program we're doing here. And because I've done that program and I was talking about what we did, and that's the kind of education that the leaders of Liberia's political future are missing. So it would be really great. Tasmania may have some wisdom to share to support the future of Liberia, which would be incredible.
How good to see some fruits coming out of your visit. You also mentioned in your email about creating links between schools in Tasmania and India.
There's a huge excitement and enthusiasm for that in India, to do some cultural sharing, and a lot of Indian students are really fascinated with coming to Australia, and they've got so much to share. Like, it's amazing. In Nepal, I was astounded because I was working in there, and I went into these classrooms and there were no teachers in the classrooms at all, and these were like 8 and 9-year-olds, and they were working diligently by themselves through the school books. No supervision, and there was this quiet, studious classroom. I'm like, Australians could learn from this.
I reckon my family could learn from that.
Exactly. The chaos that would happen in Australia, or in Tasmania, the kids would all be laughing and goofing off, whereas in Nepal there's a real respect and a real honour for education, and a real, that people really get the privilege of it. And I just was so inspired by that.
Yeah, it sounds like you should be on the payroll of the Tasmanian government. You're doing some great stuff.
Well, if they want to throw some money my way, I'm not going to complain.
Now, tell me, do you have any idea yet when you're coming home?
None. I actually hope to be in Kenya for a year.
Yep.
And I've been invited to go to Iraq as well to help set up an NGO to support women widows, because in Iraq, when a woman loses her husband, she loses all her status and all her rights, and often has nowhere to go, and her family often don't take her back. So that's something that's also in the future. So I just feel like I'm a citizen of the world at the moment, and I'm really, wherever I am is home. So I'm really loving it.
Well, look, we often play it safe. You've done the opposite, and you've followed your passions and your dreams, and you're an inspiration to us. It's been great to catch up with you, and we'll hopefully catch up soon and see where you led next.
Awesome. Asante Sana. Thank you very much, Scott. And a big hello to everybody at home. I tell you what, I miss the fresh air. I miss beautiful Mount Wellington and the Derwent, and I miss my good friends. So hello to everybody.
Yeah, great to talk with you, Celia. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, bye.